Welcome in, everybody, to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be looking at the Pakistan Montessori Council,
Ooh,
their website specifically, to see what we can learn about Montessori training in Pakistan.
very interesting.
So, if you're out there and you're interested in different educational approaches or maybe thinking about a career change, this is definitely the deep dive for you.
Yeah, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
You've picked a fascinating time to explore this.
Hooray.
Total interest in Montessori is booming right now.
That's so cool.
It is. And it's particularly interesting to see how a country like Pakistan is sort of like weaving these principles into their educational fabric.
Yeah, that's what really caught my eye, too.
Yeah.
So on the PMC website, they have a link that says, "What is Montessori?" Which I think is a good place to start, but I'm going to guess that you probably already know a little something about Montessori education.
Yeah, sure.
What I'm more curious about is what aspects of the method really stand out as relevant in the Pakistani context.
That's a good question. You're right, just defining child-centered might not be that insightful for our listeners today.
Right.
But one thing that really struck me is how PMC really emphasizes the use of specialized materials.
Oh,
And they even highlight where to find them in Pakistan.
oh, cool.
Yeah, considering, potential resource constraints, that practical focus seems really crucial to successfully implement the method.
Ah, that's such a good point. It makes me think about the training routes that they offer. They have the online and postal diplomas, which
Yeah.
seem really unique,
Mhm.
and then also 20-day workshops and school affiliations.
Right. It's a really diverse mix.
Yeah, it is.
And that diversity might be key to understanding how PMC is adapting to the realities on the ground there.
Okay.
Think about it. Offering postal materials alongside online options
Right.
suggests they're mindful of varying levels of internet access across the country.
Wow.
It's a way to make the training accessible regardless of location or technological resources.
That's such a thoughtful observation.
Yeah. It seems like they're really trying to remove any barriers to entry for anyone interested in pursuing this training.
Yeah, I think so.
And speaking of accessibility, they have this whole section on the diploma program payment plans.
Right.
Single manual, 2 manuals, half payment, full payment.
Interesting.
It seems like they're trying to cater to different budgets and learning paces.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're anticipating the financial concerns someone might have when considering a career shift,
Right.
and they're being proactive
Yeah.
in addressing those with very flexible options.
Yeah. I'm really intrigued by the full payment plan, though.
Yeah.
It offers significant savings.
Does it?
A whole 42,000 rupees
Wow.
if you pay for all 12 manuals up front.
Interesting.
Now, is this just about financial incentives, or could this reflect something a little deeper?
I don't know. It could be a little of both.
Okay.
On the one hand, a large upfront payment might not be feasible for everyone,
Right.
but for those who can swing it, it's a clear signal of dedication.
And a way to fully immerse themselves in the program from day one.
I like that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I can see how receiving all the materials at once would appeal to someone who values efficiency and wants to dive right in.
Exactly. It also speaks to the structure of the training itself.
Okay.
By providing all the manuals up front, PMC seems to be encouraging a more self-directed learning approach.
Interesting.
Allowing trainees to set their own pace
Right.
and delve into the material as deeply as they need.
This is making me rethink this whole online postal diploma format.
Yeah.
Initially, I was a bit skeptical about online training for something so hands-on as Montessori.
Yeah.
But the more we unpack this, the more I see how PMC is really thoughtfully weaving together these different elements
Right.
to create a really comprehensive and accessible learning experience.
I totally agree. It's a great example of how they're tailoring the method to fit the specific context of Pakistan.
Yeah.
But remember, they also emphasize the practical side with their 20-day Montessori workshops. It's almost like they're acknowledging that even with all the online and postal resources, there's no substitute for that hands-on experience.
And these workshops are free to distance Montessori diploma students.
Wow.
So for anyone who's maybe hesitant about the investment in a diploma, this is a huge incentive just to get a little taste.
Yeah.
Get
your feet wet.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like a fantastic way to experience the Montessori environment firsthand and also connect with other trainees.
Precisely. And it reinforces that blend of theory and practice that they seem to prioritize.
Yes.
It's not just about acquiring knowledge.
Yeah.
It's about putting it into practice in a real-world setting.
Speaking of putting things into practice, I'm curious about this section on school affiliation with the Pakistan Montessori Council. I'm assuming this is for established schools looking to incorporate Montessori principles.
You're right. And this section reveals a lot about PMC's role in promoting the Montessori system within Pakistan.
Okay.
It's not just about individual training.
Right.
It's about supporting entire institutions.
Wow.
And shaping the educational landscape.
That's a pretty ambitious goal.
It is.
But I can see how offering that affiliation, the resources, a sense of community, could be a really powerful way to encourage adoption of the Montessori method.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really paints a picture of them as a driving force, not just for training individuals, but for shaping the future of education in Pakistan.
It really does.
So on the website, they highlight the practical aspects of their offerings, things like Montessori classroom materials and resources and Montessori training videos.
Right.
So I'm guessing for someone living in Pakistan thinking about starting their own Montessori program, knowing where to find quality materials would be a huge relief.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Imagine the challenge of trying to implement this hands-on approach without access to the right tools.
Yeah.
PMC seems to understand this and addresses it head-on. And it's not just about having the materials. It's about understanding how to use them effectively.
Right.
That's where those training videos come in.
Yeah.
Offering visual guidance and support.
That's awesome. It's like they thought of everything.
Yeah.
And speaking of support, we can't forget about social proof.
Right.
There's a whole section on the website dedicated to happy Montessori trainees and graduates,
Interesting.
filled with positive testimonials.
Okay.
Now, these aren't just generic reviews. They share specific details about their experiences,
Okay.
about the support of tutors,
Wow.
and even career successes.
That's great.
What stood out to you in these testimonials?
Well, one thing that struck me was the recurring theme of community.
Okay.
Many graduates mentioned the supportive learning environment
Yeah.
and how PMC fostered a sense of connection among trainees.
Oh, that's cool.
It makes me think back to that Montessori club we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about providing training.
Right.
It's about creating a network of passionate individuals who can all support each other on this journey.
Oh, that's so true. Imagine being able to connect with other people who are equally as excited about this approach to education. That would be awesome. It could be a source of inspiration, shared knowledge, even potential collaborations.
Absolutely.
The website mentions that the club is the first and the only Montessori social network for everyone.
Wow.
Which makes me wonder, is this a sign that the Montessori movement is gaining some momentum in Pakistan?
It's certainly a possibility. You know, if PMC felt the need to create this dedicated social network, it suggests that there's a growing community of individuals who are interested in Montessori,
Right.
whether they're educators or parents,
Yeah.
or simply just curious about these alternative education models.
And remember, those testimonials are even verified by Trust Index.
Oh, wow.
Adds another layer of credibility, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. It speaks to a commitment to transparency
Yeah.
and a desire to really build that trust with potential trainees.
But beyond the testimonials and the verifications, there's another detail that caught my eye. The mention of PMC's registration with NAVTTC,
Oh, right.
the National Vocational and Technical Training Commission.
I kind of skimmed over that.
Yeah.
What does that registration actually mean in a practical sense?
Well, it's a pretty big deal.
Is it?
It means that their programs meet national standards for vocational training,
Okay.
which adds a level of legitimacy
Yeah.
and recognition to their certifications.
Right.
For graduates, this could open doors to employment opportunities
Oh, wow.
in institutions that require NAVTTC recognized qualifications.
Oh, huge.
Yeah. So imagine you're a parent considering a Montessori school for your child. Knowing that the teachers are trained by an NAVTTC registered institution,
Right?
that would probably factor into your decision.
It would definitely factor into my decision. Provides that reassurance about the quality of the training and the qualifications of those educators. It also suggests that PMC graduates are entering the workforce
Yeah.
with credentials that are respected and recognized throughout Pakistan.
Yeah. All these pieces seem to fit together so well.
They do.
The accessibility, the adapted delivery methods, the community building efforts.
Right.
And now this official recognition from NAVTC.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. It really paints a picture of a dedicated organization that's striving to make a real impact on the educational landscape in Pakistan.
I agree. And it makes me wonder about the bigger picture.
Oh, okay.
While the website focuses on PMC's specific offerings,
Right.
It sparks a lot of questions about the overall reception of Montessori in Pakistan. Like, is there a growing demand for Montessori-trained educators?
Okay.
What types of institutions are embracing this approach? Are there specific challenges or opportunities unique to the Pakistani context?
Those are great questions.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the website doesn't delve too deep into those broader trends.
Right.
But perhaps the blog section might offer some additional insights.
You're right. Checking out their blog could be a way to get a sense of their ongoing activities, the news, and their perspectives on Montessori in Pakistan.
For our listener who's been with us on this deep dive, what would you say is the most important takeaway? If someone is genuinely intrigued by Montessori training in Pakistan, what would be their next step?
Well, the PMC website itself is a fantastic resource.
Hey.
It's packed with detailed information about their programs,
Right.
about the Montessori method,
Yeah.
even resources for finding materials.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I'd encourage reaching out to them directly.
Okay.
They have a Contact Us section with an email address and a phone number.
Great.
So don't hesitate to reach out with your specific questions.
That's a great reminder. Sometimes the best way to learn is to just ask.
Exactly.
And if you're feeling inspired to bring this approach to education to your own community,
Imagine the possibilities.
yeah, what could that look like?
Could you be the one to start a Montessori playgroup? Offer workshops for parents and educators?
Yeah.
Advocate for incorporating these principles into existing schools?
I love it. Those are some pretty powerful thoughts to ponder.
Yeah.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a minute to recap what we've learned about PMC and Montessori in Pakistan.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's take a moment to reflect on our little journey through the Pakistan Montessori Council website.
Yeah.
We've seen how PMC is thoughtfully blending online,
Right.
postal and in-person, learning to make Montessori training accessible
Yeah.
to a wide range of people across Pakistan.
What's so fascinating is how they've tailored their approach
Yeah?
to the specific needs and realities of the country. From offering those flexible payment plans to gaining that official recognition from NADPTC,
Yeah.
PMC is demonstrating a real commitment to quality and accessibility.
And they're not just focused on training individuals.
Right.
They're actively building a community through initiatives like the Montessori Club.
It's inspiring to see how they're fostering this network of passionate educators who can support each other and advocate for the Montessori method.
It makes you wonder, could this be the beginning of a larger movement?
It could.
You know, could PMC's efforts be laying the groundwork for a wider adoption of Montessori principles in Pakistani education?
It's definitely a possibility.
And those testimonials that we read,
Right.
the stories of graduates finding fulfilling careers and making a real difference in their communities,
Yeah.
those are powerful testaments to the impact that PMC is having.
It's a reminder that education isn't just about acquiring knowledge.
Right.
It's about empowering individuals to reach their full potential
Yeah.
and contribute to society in those meaningful ways. And that's what the Montessori method is all about.
Exactly.
It's about fostering that love of learning,
Right.
critical thinking, and collaboration.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Imagine the possibilities. If more children in Pakistan had the opportunity to experience the joy and wonder of learning in a Montessori environment,
What a beautiful vision.
what kind of future could we create
Right.
if we nurtured their curiosity, their creativity, their love of discovery?
It's a beautiful vision, isn't it?
It is.
And it all starts with taking that first step,
Yeah.
exploring the possibilities, and connecting with organizations like PMC who are dedicated to making that vision a reality.
Exactly. So if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity,
Yeah.
I encourage you to visit the PMC website, explore their resources, and even reach out to them directly.
Right.
You might just discover a path that leads to a more fulfilling career
Absolutely.
and a brighter future for the children in your community. Thanks for joining us on this exploration,
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.